Hello everybody, it's Jimmy Fasig and Dana Brooks with
Hello.
Come Back Stronger, where we come at you with some really amazing comeback stories. Dana, I gotta tell you, you are looking very elegant today.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm channeling my Melania thing today.
Yeah,
I'm
I can tell that.
Feeling very charged up and kind of Christmas in the air, so Christmas to the
I
air.
love it, I love it. Well, I tell you what, we have some amazing stories that we're going to share with you today. The first story that we're going to be talking about is, well, one of the issues that I really like to discuss is the issue of bullying.
Yeah.
And so this is a situation where we're going to be talking to Chevonti Williams, and you're going to meet her and hear her story about how she had to deal with bullying. And she is a fascinating person because here's what I love about a good comeback story, particularly when you're dealing with bullying, is that the person that comes back from a bullying is the one that uses the pain that they suffered from the bullying as fuel for their fire to show the person that bullied them that they are powerful, that they are, that they can come back.
Yeah, and they tend to, once they do get, their sense of self, and they do get over and they do tackle the bullying, they seem to reach back and build other people up and bring them along too. And this young woman, she was body shamed, and we get so much of that. Yeah. So much now. And if you have noticed, there's a shift to that because we've been hearing about it for years now. And then now when you go into stores, you'll notice that the mannequins look more like normal people out in the world. We're finally kind of getting away from these unrealistic, idealistic body types that are just not attainable, and all they do is make you feel bad. So she just kind of took the bull by the horns on that. She was tired of it. She was getting body shamed, and she just put all this angst and energy into song,
into her music. And
I love it.
And that's the beauty of it, is using that creative expression. And but these comeback stories, they almost have all the same elements of, you get hurt, but then you decide you're not going to take that anymore, and then you come back stronger, and then you use what you learned in order to help other people come back.
And that's what we're trying to bring with this show, is we're trying to bring people, because we all get knocked down. It doesn't matter how privileged you are.
Every single one of us.
Everything's going on. Everybody gets knocked down, but it's about how you get back up. And then once you get back up, what do you do with it? Do you just stay there and say, good for me, or do you look around and see who needs your help? So I just love bringing these stories to everybody, and I hope you enjoy them as much as we do.
Yeah, we're excited for you to meet Chevonti. We're giving you a game plan on how you can take back control of your life to not just get back to where you were before you started, but also to come back stronger. This is a tragedy in your life, it's an accident, or it's a loss that you've never expected to suffer. But every tragedy carries with it the seed of an equal opportunity. And so our job is to guide our clients to take advantage of that opportunity. And that is the most fulfilling thing that I do in my job. When I give my client that settlement check at the end of the day, if they can walk out of there feeling like they are the hero of their own story, and they're proud of themselves because they did what I asked them to do, they took my guidance, and they ended up with seeing that light at the end of the tunnel and actually reaching that light, that's what it's all about. Welcome back, everybody. We are just about to meet Chevonti Williams with her comeback story, and it's going to be brought to you by our law partner, Kimmy Hogan.
Hi, will you please tell us your name?
I'm Chevonti Williams.
Chevonti, how old are you?
I'm 16 and a junior in high school.
Okay. Yeah. And you, in addition to being a junior, are also an artist, is that right? Tell us what you do.
I'm a singer and entrepreneur, and I have my own podcast named The Chevonti Williams Show.
16 years old and all that. What got you into starting your own podcast?
Well, ever since I was little, I had social anxiety, never knew how to make friends or talk to anyone. I just thought it was so awkward, and how we have the awkward silence, don't know how to keep the conversation going.
Sure.
So I'm still trying to work on it now. And like last week, in class we had like a group project, and then I was the only one left out because I don't know how to socialize with others. And the same day at lunch, I was by myself, and it really got me thinking, like, why don't I know how to make friends? So I just realized that maybe I should start a podcast so I can talk about today's issues and how I'm feeling and stuff, so I can actually help myself.
That's so brave to, well, one, it's incredible to think about how you have social anxiety to talking to people, so you said, I'm going to go ahead and put my voice out there in a bigger way so that maybe it helps me when I'm in a smaller situation with people one-on-one. Although I tell you what, that can be scarier talking to a person one-on-one.
Scary.
Well, so that's why you started the podcast, right? So that you were able to practice speaking. And then also you are a singer. What got you into music?
Well, I've always remembered just loved to sing, and that's when I told everyone that I wanted to be a singer, but everyone just didn't believe in me, said I wasn't good enough. I was too overweight to become a singer, or I wouldn't make it because I'm African American and all of that. And it really got to my head, and I thought those things was true, and I actually had people telling me that I was never going to be as pretty as the professional singers or the skinny girls at school, and I went into a depression. And then that's when, after that, I just stopped writing songs and stopped singing because I thought that was what people wanted. And then, because I'm a model too, I liked to model when I was little, so I was in a pageant, the Miss Charisma Scholarship pageant, and I had to sing in front of the judges and thousands of people, and I was just so nervous because all the trauma came back. And I thought that everyone was going to just bully me again.
And thousands of people to sing in front of.
I was so nervous.
That's a lot. How'd it go?
It was good. I just had to tell myself to just not picture everyone there, just me and a microphone. And that's when I started performing, that's when it came back to me why I loved music so much. And that's when I told everyone that I was going to actually pursue it. So that's when I started writing music and singing again, and no one really helped me with it, so I had to save money and for studio time and do my own research and all that.
And were you able to save money to get into the studio?
I had a little part-time job on the weekend, and that's when I went to the studio, recorded my song Dangerous, and that's when, before I put out my song, I had to build an audience. And that part is really hard, to actually have people to look forward to your music. So that's when I started a YouTube channel and my podcast, so people can be interested in listening to my music. And that's when I got a lot of messages on Instagram about them wanting to hear my music when it's going to come out. But the song, I didn't really like how it turned out, but it was just all in my head. So I ended up releasing it, and I got a lot of positive feedback on it.
That's wonderful. So even though people told you can't do this, for a time it held you back, but then you found the strength within yourself to come back and actually have studio time, and now you've released a single. And what's the single called again?
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Okay. And how can people find that song if they want to listen to it?
It's on all platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, all the platforms, basically.
Yeah. So what was it that helped you get out of the depression and decide, you know what, I'm going to take life by the horns and do what I want to do? I mean, that's a lot for anybody to do, but a 16-year-old, that's really incredible. How did you find that strength?
Well, it was a huge void in my life. I never knew where it was ever since I stopped singing, because I thought that's what people wanted. And then that's when, like I said, when I sung in front of thousands of people, and I remembered why I loved music so much, because it actually helped me with my problems. I listened to music when I was happy, sad, angry. It just really helped me. And then that's when I just had to teach myself how to not listen to what others had to say. And that's when I just turned a negative thing into a positive thing and just motivate myself. Like, say people was talking about you, saying never can do it or you're not good enough for it. I had to take that and turn it into something positive to motivate myself, to show them that I am good enough and I am talented enough and anyone can do it.
So what message would you like to share with other teenagers who are feeling like the world's against them or people don't support them? What do you want to say to them to encourage them?
Well, what helped me was my podcast, so I think that they should try to find something to actually motivate them to do it, and that they should also teach themselves how to not listen to all the negative things and to keep on working hard and never giving up. And if you really love what you do, that you will never give up and just keep on going.
So take it one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So what's next for you? What does the future hold?
Well, soon I'm going inside in the studio to record more music, and I don't know when it's going to come out though, but every week on Monday I will be recording new episodes for my podcast, The Chevonti Williams Show.
Wonderful. Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Wow, I love her. She is so awesome, 16 years old.
16 years old, I can't believe it.
And there is so much to unpack from that story, and so we're gonna do some of that unpacking, but first we are gonna go to this commercial break.
When you come into my firm, you see a lot of faces that look like yours. You see a lot of people that had the same problem before they got to work. You know, a lot of people who left kids with mismatched shoes and have, a lunch bag, you screaming, just because you had an appointment you had to make. We get you. We get you.
You have to go to a lawyer that will understand your story as a woman. Because women have different stories than men do, and that's just a fact of life. And if you're a woman that's been injured, either through a slip and fall or a trip and fall in an auto accident, you have to go to a lawyer that's going to understand what your daily existence was like before, what it's like now, what the injury means to your entire family, and what you need to do to come back and be where you were before, and even come back and be stronger than where you were before. They just need to have the courage to pick up the phone, because we are going to take the burden of this accident or you being hurt off of your shoulders. We're going to put it on our shoulders. So you don't have to worry about it. Exactly. You can worry about everything else in your life, but not this accident. We're going to worry about that for you.
Welcome back to Facing Brooks' Comeback Stronger, where we're all about comeback stories. And we just had the pleasure of listening to the interview of Chevonti Williams.
Yeah.
What an amazing young lady. Really, really excited about her. What sort of lessons did you unpack from that story? What were the takeaways for you, Dana?
Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, a lot of the problems that she experienced were because of things that she had been told by people in her life. You're not, you don't look right, you don't sound right, you don't fit in with other people very well. And she internalized and adopted those, and they informed her beliefs about herself for many, many years, it sounds like, and it kept her from pursuing, her love of music and the things that brought her great joy. So I think whenever she finally she looked like she looked inward, and she thought, why am I having such difficulty meeting other people and interacting? And she realized, I have social anxiety. And so that's very insightful for a 16-year-old to have.
It sure is, absolutely.
But then she took the other step and she started doing something about it. She kind of self-diagnosed and self-treated, and she decided that, I'm going to go and maybe have the anonymity of a microphone and go and do a podcast so I can reach people. Then she started getting positive feedback from people, and then that helped her with her social anxiety. So I just am shocked at the insight this young lady showed.
The couple things that I love about it. Number one, she faced her fear. She has social anxiety, so instead of just crawling up into a hole and being shy all the time, she said, I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to do a podcast and go in front of thousands of people at a time. That is awesome.
I love her.
Then the second thing is she also faced the insecurity that she had from people telling her that you're never going to be a good singer because you don't look right, you don't have the right weight, you don't have the right color of skin. And because of that, she instead of using that to go up into a hole, she said, I am going to tackle this, and I'm going to go to work, I'm going to get into the studio, I'm going to record my own song, and I'm going to show these people. She used that as fuel for her fire. So it's just so good. Now we're going to have the interview of Luis Guerrero as interviewed by our law partner, Carrie Rowan.
Hey Luis, thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
You're the owner of Great Plates, right?
Definitely.
What is Great Plates?
Great Place is a restaurant in Tallahassee, Florida that I started about 2 years ago, shortly after getting released from prison.
Okay. What kind of food do you serve?
We sell like everything from chicken to burgers to pastas, mac and cheeses, a variety of desserts, all from scratch, like cakes, cupcakes, brownies. We do like Louisiana style boils. We roll our egg rolls in the house. Like we have like chicken egg rolls, seafood egg rolls.
Where is it?
It's on Tennessee Street, right across from Popeyes, like close to FSU, 460 West Tennessee Street.
Okay, nice. So you said that you made this decision to start the restaurant when you got out of prison?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about your background, because that's an interesting comeback story. How did you wind up in prison?
Okay, well, I went to college in 2010. Came to FAMU the summer directly after high school. And shortly, I just kind of, drifted into the college stuff, and I started hanging out more than doing my schoolwork, and I started affecting my grades.
You
And
mean like partying and stuff?
yeah, that type of stuff. And I was like dancing and stepping and like in all these organizations and stuff. And I just like wasn't really focusing on school. I was just like really having fun.
You were having a really good time.
A great time. And,
Too good of a time?
Yeah, like a great time. So, but yeah, I started doing that stuff, and I started reflecting on my grades. So then I initially lost my financial aid. When I was a freshman in college, like, the marijuana was the thing in college. So it was kind of like as common as eating candy. So I'm like, you know what? I know this would be the fastest way to make money. So I
you lost your scholarship and you had to start selling it.
I end up selling weed to make the money to get through school.
Wow.
And then I kind of end up just getting deeper into it and got in trouble.
It's pretty easy because it's easy money, right?
It's very easy money, especially when everybody's doing it. It's not like you have to get out there and get on the corner selling. It's just kind of like, okay, all my friends doing this, so it's just like easy money. So
easy until you get caught.
Until you get caught, yeah.
So first offense was pretty minor.
Yeah, correct.
And then you kept doing it, and then you got the big bust.
Correct, the big one.
And what were your charges on that one?
That's when I moved from selling weed to selling edibles.
I see.
Yeah, so I was I felt like that was the smarter, less risky way to do it. And it just seemed more harmless. Like, and I kind of feel like if I'm doing more harmless stuff, that I would have a less chance of getting in trouble.
It's just a gummy bear.
Right, a cupcake. So I just was baking a lot, and I started doing that. And like it was around 2016. I started doing it so well that I wanted to do it professionally. So I ended up moving to California.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I ended up moving to California, but the friends that I had that was helping me start out, they stayed in Florida and they were doing it in Florida.
So you got big time.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, and they got caught and they told me out.
Oh, they rolled on you.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much time did you serve?
I only did a year and a half.
A year and a half too many?
Yeah, and I say only because it was a very long time. No, don't get me wrong. But I say only because I was facing like 25 years. Yeah, I was facing like 25. So had it went the way it went, I would have been stuck with the 25.
So when you were in prison for a year and a half, what were you thinking? Were you just trying to motivate yourself to get out and do something positive, or
initially, because I'm an extreme realist when it comes to like life, and I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe in cause and effect. I believe in all of that. So when I went and I got in trouble, I was trying to really process what was going on, because in my mind I wasn't doing nothing wrong. Like the whole marijuana charges, I never really agreed with those. I still don't agree with those, laws. And obviously the world is starting to understand as well that it's not that deep. So it's just, I had to process right from wrong, because I feel like I was doing right in a business sense, for myself, and to get in trouble for it. And then I'm in there, and then I'm kind of like in this environment now, and I'm like, what's really going on? Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? Because I was never the type of person that was doing wrong things and that deserved to be punished and taught right and pushed in the right direction. Like, that's what I feel like this Department of Corrections is for, to push you in the right direction. But I wasn't doing nothing wrong, so I'm just in there like, what's up? So immediately after that, I kind of processed, like, I kind of looked at it from like a spiritual / religious kind of view, and I was just believing, like, you know, everything happens for a reason. I was getting in tune with the universe and with God, and I'm just like, I feel like for whatever reason he has and whatever reason the universe had, that was the reason that I ended up in there. And I just immediately told myself, okay, so wherever it put me here, I have to figure it out, and I have to just think, what am I gonna do when I get out?
Right.
Because it put me here for a reason. So the time that I have now, I have to use it, because I probably wouldn't have had this time to use and think and to put together the plans that I need to be doing to get myself further in life.
So it's almost like that's what needed to happen
Correct.
in order to get you out of that bad place and put you in a good place.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And so what would you say to other people who are having the struggles with the bad places? What would you tell them how would you tell them to find strength to hang on to get to the good place, like where you are now with your restaurant?
The first thing I would tell them is that if they're still here, that they already survived all of those bad days. So every situation is temporary. So if you can look, for you to feel like your days are bad, you have to see someone else's good days. So you have to realize that just because you see those good days don't mean those people didn't have their bad days, and everybody's story is different. Being in prison and having to deal with that and learn through that and persevere through that made this a whole lot easier, because had I not gone through that already, this probably would have popped my head off.
That's such a great perspective.
Yeah, this probably would have popped my head off. Like, but because I was there, I feel like that was the lowest it could get. Like living through that prison situation is like, I don't think it can get any lower. I don't think the pressure can get any harder. Like anything that you can face in the real world, it has nothing on what you have to face while you're in there. So if I can get through that, I'm kind of like, I'm ready for whatever out here.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that message. And I think a lot of people that see this will be very inspired by you. And I know there's a lot of people pulling for you and rooting for you. So thank you so much.
Definitely. No problem.
Welcome back, everybody. What a great interview. Thank you so much, Carrie. I got to tell you, that particular interview I love mostly because I relate to Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Big time. Couple
you
of
do.
things that we have in common. Number one, he likes to dance.
I know
right?
you do.
And so I'm going on record right now, Lewis. If you like to step, I like to break dance. So I'm challenging you to a break dance contest.
May I stop? Because people don't think you're serious.
No, I'm dead
And I
serious.
want to make sure that people understand Jimmy is serious when he challenges you to a dance off.
Oh yeah, I've never backed down from
No,
a
you have
dance
not.
contest, and I never will. And I'm just calling you out. Anyway, so we're going to go to a commercial. We'll be right back.
Their life has been changed, and this is for real. And so many times it can be a very intimate part of a man's life. You know, something that they don't even want anyone to know they're experiencing, much less do they want to share how it's affecting them. It even feels worse when you don't stand up for yourself. Because you know you can't stand up for yourself among these lawyers and these insurance companies because it's not your area. You don't know. So a lot of times, instead of seeking help, especially maybe from a woman, they just take it, and then that eats on you. You know, people don't lead with their weaknesses, but that doesn't mean they don't exist, and it doesn't mean they don't deserve fair compensation for them whenever those weaknesses and those injuries are caused by somebody else just not paying attention and being careless. That is not your responsibility. It is the careless person's responsibility. And making that person honor their word and honor their commitment to you, that's not weakness at all. That is strength. That is doing the right thing for yourself and for your family, so you can walk with a straight back and your kids can look up to you and say, that's my daddy, he takes care of us.
Welcome back to Come Back Stronger. We just had the privilege and pleasure of listening to Luis Guerrero telling his comeback story. Talked about his dancing, but also about the fact that he went to prison and then he came out and then started his own restaurant. And what were your takeaways, Dana?
Again, you know, just like Chevonti, I'm surprised at this young man's insight. You know, he gave, I mean, a year and a half to be in jail probably gives you an opportunity to think deeply about how you got there. But he used that time. You know, we meet people who have had, you know, periods of incarceration, and not all of them have that level of insight. And he thought about it, and he said, you know, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, this happened to be for a reason. This is not, I'm not a victim. This is not a happenstance. I need to be responsible for the consequences of my behavior, and I need to do what I'm supposed to do while I'm here on this earth. And I love that.
That's exactly where I was going with it.
Yeah.
This is what I love. Every challenge that we face, every obstacle, every disappointment, every failure, every setback is teaching us the lessons we need to learn to become who we're supposed to be. It's always an opportunity to reevaluate our lives and to come back wiser and stronger. And that's exactly what Lewis did.
But you've got to have your eyes and your ears open,
Yeah.
and your heart open.
Yes, 100%.
To receiving, you know, you're big on energy and wavelengths and vibrations
Yeah.
in the universe. I am too. I
Yeah.
am too. You know, you put out and you pick up energy.
Yeah.
And he just made a decision that he was going to put out good energy. He was going to make a positive contribution because he realized he has so much to offer. He is here
Yeah.
for a reason, and he seems like he looks every day to find the purpose, the reason for why he is here. Now, in addition, that man makes some good food.
Yeah.
We're talking about a seafood egg roll. What?
Yum, yum.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you for all you do to feed people like me who do not necessarily cook or cook well. So it's a good thing to do to feed people and put it back in the community. And you know this man probably does a lot of volunteerism, employs a lot of people who've had run-ins with the law. So he has given it back multifold.
That's what it's all about. So that the end of every good comeback story is where the person that is coming back now uses what they've learned to give back to the community.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Lewis is doing.
And you know that there's young men and women, you know, struggling right out of high school and college, and they're looking at men like this, and they're saying, this isn't a cautionary tale. This is an encouraging path, you know. And so many people, they get to college and they do fall down. You know, maybe they don't interact, you know, in the criminal justice system, but maybe they just don't do well, and they were great in school, and then they get, you know, away from their home, and they just start, you know, just not doing very well. But it's just it's a note of encouragement, you know.
Well, one of the big lessons that I took away from it that I can relate to is that he said that because of the time that he spent in prison, that he now has a greater appreciation for his freedom now, and that now the challenges that he faces are nothing compared to having to do a year and a half in prison. Right. So that gives him the strength and the bravery and the courage. So we have really had a great day. I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us and listening to these awesome comeback stories. You can join us on Facebook Brooks Facebook page and follow us, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
I like that people who don't have the money to pay for lawyers, they can come to a contingency fee lawyer, someone like us who only gets paid when we recover for them, and they can go toe-to-toe with giants.
You are actually just coming to us, not paying us anything, and if we're successful in getting you money, we get paid. And the more money we get for you, the more money we get. So our interests are totally aligned.
And it's a wonderful system, because otherwise, how many people can afford to go hire a lawyer by the hour just so they can have their day in court? Right. That would be almost no one. That would mean justice is only available in America to rich people otherwise. But the contingency fee agreement allows everybody to go in on equal footing. It levels the playing field. But to me, it's saying we're equal. Okay, just because you have all those resources behind you doesn't mean I have to take whatever you give me. I've got a lawyer that I can afford who can stand up to you on the same playing field, equal ground in front of a judge, and I will get treated the same way those big corporations will be treated.